In C++ and other programming languages, there are something called functions. And a function can be described as a block of code that you can use many times in your program. The good part about the function is that you only need to write this code one time, and then you can use it several times in the same program. If you have seen the video on the C++ variables, you know that there are different types of data types. We have something called char, we have int, we have string, and if you know this, then you know that if you go to the function part, there can be functions of these types also. So you can have a function of a type int, you can have a function of a type double, function of a type float, char, string, and something called a void. So I was thinking that we could just start with open a new project in Visual Studio, Visual C++ Win32 console application, and we can call it function void. Just click finish on the application wizard. And here we are. This is our basic code, and I will let you in on a bit secret. Over here on the top, you say include stdafx.h. So this is an inclusion. And over here, we say int main and return 0. And you know from previously that this is where we write our code. But int main is a function. And what recognizes a function is that there's a data type, there's a name, and it takes parameters. And you also need a return. I will now try to demonstrate a function of a type void. And void is like all other functions, but it doesn't take a return value. So before we need to write anything, we need to include the correct files. So I will include iostream and namespace std. And we need to declare the function above our code. So we have the function declaration. So if my function is called my function and it's a type of void, here we can say void int string double float. So it's a void my function, then it's declared here. So we know that we can use this function. Underneath int main, the main function, we can write the function. So my function, and in here we can write the code for the function. To call for this function, we just write inside main my function. So this may be a bit strange, and I definitely understand, because it doesn't do anything. So let's try to pause the program here. System pause, and we can try to run it, and you see that we don't get any errors. Yeah, and we didn't. Okay, so let's try to make it a bit more useful. If you have seen in my while tutorial, you see that we had a program that had a menu. So instead of writing this menu in main, I can write it in the function. So let's try to write a menu function. So instead of calling it my function, I will call it print menu. And I can call for the function print menu, and I need to write the function print menu. And for print menu, I will just write the menu is the following: start game, load game, end game. So what I've done now is I have declared the function, I have written the code for the function, and I have called for the function in main. And this is how it looks. I've written the menu here now. The cool thing is that if I call for the function again, times, then the menu will be written 2 times. But I have only written it 1 time in the code. So you can call for functions as many times as you want. So this is the void function. I was thinking we could look at the next function, that's an integer function. So we'll just start a new project, and I will call it function int demo. And this function we are going to create today is a calculation of how old a person is. So I will just pause the program here. And up here I will declare a function. And I will call the function int, because it's an integer function. Calculate days old. And down here I need to write the function. And I will write it by just first writing int, calculate days old. And then return. Because integer function always needs to return a function. So what I want to do is now to ask the user on his age or his born year, and then I will calculate the days old he is by using the function calculate days old. So I will write cout how many, what year were you born in, and end line. And I will write cout answer. And if you're going to take in a year he was born in, we need the variables, and it has to be declared. And in the integer, year born. And the year born we reread in with the cin. So now we have a year born with cin, and we want to calculate days old. So we can write we can store it in a new variable, int days old. And here we got year born, and we need to get days old. So days old, it will be the function calculate days old. And now we can have days old inside the variable days old. But inside this function we need to send in the year born. So we have now sent in year born, and it says too many arguments in function call. Because what I want to do here is to take the input year born, and do some mathematics here. So I will have here days old equals input year born times 365 days, and I want to return this so that it's transferred to this this variable. And we got an error message here because we haven't declared the integer in the variables. So we of course need to do that also. So I will write int year born. Okay, we will just check if this works. So I will write the result over here. You are days old okay, so you are days old. So let's try to run it. So today is 2016, so if I write 2016, or I can write no, of course it should be your age. What are your age? And here it's input age. So what is your age? And the answer is your age, and then we try to multiply it by 365, and then we get how many days old. So if I'm 10 years old, then I should be 3,650 days old. And you are 3,650 days old. Press any key to continue. So this is how you use an int function. And of course I could then put this in a while loop to get different types of ages. I will now go down to the next function type, that is a double function, and we will have this function to translate meter per second into kilometer per hour. And I was also thinking we could try to convert it to miles per hour, or to American units. So let's try to make a new project. So I will just call it function double demo. And here we have our program. So first we need to declare functions. I will have a double meter per seconds to kilometer per hour, and it will take an input of a double meter per second. I will have a double kilometer per hour to meter per second. I will take a double kilometer per hour. I will write a system pause here. And I will write the functions. So a double meter to kilometer per hour takes a double meter per second function. So what this function is going to do, it's going to take the meter per second and convert it to kilometer per hour. So double kilometer per hour equals meter per second times 3.6, and it will return kilometer per hour. So I will just copy this and write kilometer per hour to meter per second, and we take kilometer per hour. So meter per second should be, of course, kilometer per hour divided by on 3.6, and it should return meter per second. So let's accept data from the user. So we will write cout. What do you want to convert? Line. So we will have an action variable, and we will write one is meter per second to kilometer per hour, and 2 is kilometer per hour to meter per second. And we will read it into our action variable and do if-else statements. And we have to ask for the number also. So if the action equals to 1, then it's meter per second to kilometer per hour. So then we can write cout, enter, please enter meter per second, and we need a variable for this also in double. We just call it v for velocity, cin v, and then we can use the function to get kilometer per hour. Velocity original, or we'll call it velocity meter per second and velocity kilometer per hour. So I will have two functions. So here I will take cin velocity meter per second and velocity kilometer per hour, then should be meter per second to kilometer per hour, and the input should be velocity meter per second. So I will do the same for the action equals 2, then it's kilometer per hour to meter per second. So how to calculate it? Then you just need to use the other function, and it's kilometer per hour, 2 meter per second, and takes in the velocity kilometer per hour. Then we can write the result. Your result. Then we just write meter per second. And then we can write kilometer per hour. So we try to run the program now. It asks first what do you want to convert, and I will take meter per second to kilometer per hour. And you need to enter the speed in the velocity in meter per second. So let's try to take 10 meter per second to kilometer per hour. Or it should be 36 kilometer per hour. Let's take a bit more. 50. 180 kilometer per hour. So let's try to enter 50 here and see what we get. Your result, meter per second 50, kilometer per hour 180. So we will try the other way. We will try kilometer per hour, 2 meter per second. Enter your speed in kilometer per hour. So we will take maybe 600 kilometer per hour, 2 meter per second. And it says 166 meter per second. So this is a cool example of using functions in a program. It takes, we already did, we just declare the functions, wrote the functions down here, and then use them. So I challenge you to writing 2 more functions, kilometer per hour to miles per second maybe. It would be really cool. The next function, no, that was the last function in our tutorial, but I have 2 more examples here. One is an MP3 player. That just plays different albums, and the function is called play album. It's a cool thing you can try to look at. And I also have a video player, almost the same as the MP3 player, but this has function for play, stop, pause, next, and previous. So you can start film by saying play and stop a film by saying stop. So this is how you can write more bigger programs using different functions. Good luck with functions, they are really useful.